Hello, I'm Kuljit Bhamra, and in this episode we'll be looking at how much Indian instruments cost. Now, I'm asked frequently how much instruments are cost, and I think part of the reason for people asking is they expect me to say something like £10,000 or £20,000. Many of the instruments look like they're antiques in their own right, and many of them are actually made beautifully by hand. So really, you could say that they were antiques, but the word antique and the definition of antique in the Western world hasn't really infiltrated into India yet. So instruments haven't been exploited by the art market, if I can put it that way. So many of the instruments are actually surprisingly cheaper than you'd expect them to be. Of course, they're going to be cheaper in India, but the prices I'm going to give you, or the price ranges, are what you'd expect to pay for them outside India. So let's just start off with the percussion instruments. So here is a set of tablas. If you were to buy a set of tablas, they would cost you anything from between £90 to £250. The expensive tablas are made of copper instead of perhaps brass, and they probably have better quality skins on them. I wouldn't advise buying a cheaper model of tablas because you could quite easily think that there's something wrong with your playing technique when many times it's just the drum not sounding well. Okay, let's move on to another percussive instrument here. We've got a dholak over here, which is the log drum. You would expect to pay something like £40 to £80 for this, and that's quite a cheap instrument, but also a very beautiful instrument. The dad, I'd spell it D-H-A-D, this is the talking drum, would cost about £25. And the clay pot in front of here, or matki, you'd expect to pay something like £50 for that. Okay, let's look at some melodic instruments. We have a harmonium here, and for the harmonium you'd expect to pay between £100 and £400. That's quite a wide range, and it's mostly due to the fact that there are many special features that can be incorporated in the harmonium. You could have a very simple harmonium that only has perhaps one set of reeds. Then you can have something called a scale changer like this one, in which you can transpose. You can have harmoniums that have up to 6 reeds in them, so the range of that is greater than perhaps other instruments. Then we have our tanpura drone instrument. You'd expect to pay something between £140 to £400. I would say for about £150 you can get a good working model, and then you'd pay for materials and craftsmanship really after that. I'm not sure the sound would be too different. A sitar, very similar again. You'd expect to pay anything from £150 to up to about £500 for a good basic sitar. Again, I think what you'll be paying for is material, type of wood, and craftsmanship. It's got a lot of decoration on it and a lot of handwork, a lot of engravings and inset work. So that adds to the cost. If we look at the bamboo flute, or bansuri as we call it, this is quite a long one because it plays a very low register. You would pay anything from between £30 to £80 for a good model. Okay, let's have a look at the sarangi, this bowed instrument over here, beautiful instrument. Sounds like I'm selling them, doesn't it? But I'm not. Between £120 to £250 for a good working model. Of course, you could pay more. You can pay more than the prices I'm quoting for all these instruments, you know. And again, it depends on the handiwork, the craftsmanship, the inlay work, and the quality of the wood. But for a basic working model, between £120 to £250. Our lovely shruti box, you would pay anything between £50 to £90 for that. If you went for the electronic version, that would cost you about £50. Again, there are different models for these. with different features, headphone sockets, etc., etc. But about £50 you can get what I would call a drone box. Let's have a look at the dhol over here, which is another percussive instrument, the barrel drum. And again, you could pay a lot of money for a dhol. You could pay up to £800 for a dhol. The quality of wood would affect the price, the sturdiness of the wood, and then the quality of the leather, and the way that it's bolted, the skins are bolted on. Some dhols have a microphone built inside. Goodness knows why, because it's already a very loud instrument. But I think you'd be able to pay for a dhol. You could buy a good dhol for about £400. It's still quite expensive, and anywhere up to £800. Let's have a look at this Gopi Chand. I think you'd pay something like £20 to £25 for that. Also, you'd pay that sort of price for a tumbi as well, which I don't have. Oh, I've got one here. There's a tumbi. So about £20 to £25 for one of these. Great, so that gives you a rough idea of the price range. Again, you can pay a lot more if you wish to. And of course, what I haven't accounted for is emotional value. So if there's an instrument that's been played by a maestro or a well-known person, of course that would add value to it. What I've been looking at are basic prices for a good functioning instrument that would work well. So I hope that was useful.